All right, all right. We are on the live today. We are here and we are on the live. We are on the live. Let me just make sure that you can hear me. If you can hear me, hit the like button right now as we move on straight to the live show right now. Man, goodness. Are you hearing me right now? I think you can. Let me see. Yes, I think you can hear me. My goodness. Yes, yes, yes. Now I can hear myself. Yay. My goodness, we are on the live and we are happy to see you on the live. If you are joining us, make sure that you please click the thumbs up or the like button and also the share button so that we can enjoy ourselves together on a Sunday afternoon. As you know, we are the Ortains and we are coming with you. We're coming to you on the Life and Health Show on our YouTube channel and our Facebook pages. And once again, thank you for joining us and sharing your afternoon with us. Last week, we talked about stress, and it was a long talk. We basically packed everything together and talked about stress, how it can kill you, and how you can manage it. And we had a lot of things coming through that talk. So we want to break it down on some levels. What are some sorts of or some kinds of stress that we see that we have. And so today's show, we have picked one topic, and I'm pretty sure if you are with us, you probably have seen it. And the topic we have picked is this: overcoming marital stress. Overcoming marital stress. So we are generally dealing with stress, and we are going to pick one after the other. So marriage or relationship stress is one that came through our live show last week. If you haven't seen it, make sure you go back and after this show to make sure you actually get everything that we talked about, a complete summary of stress. So we're going to pick up today, overcoming marital stress, and that is what we're going to do. And today, I know some of you knew I was going to be by myself because Gifty was not going to be here. So we moved the show to 6 just to accommodate her time so she can be on the live with me every Sunday. My goodness. Yeah. Because two people are better than just one. All right. So that is what we are doing today. We are going to talk about overcoming marital stress. And we have some slides prepared. We're just going to go through great conversation. We have already seen people giving the thumbs up. My goodness. Good job, man. My goodness. We need a clap. Wow. My brother Jeremiah has already said yes, he is ready for the show. And I see your comments. Let me just put it on. So if you are watching on Facebook or wherever you are watching from, you have to remember that you can send in your live comments like this man has already done, and your live comments will come. Just allow the system. If you try to send a comment, if you allow the system, if it asks you, then it's going to come like I've shown you. And I know there are some very experienced gurus who watch and they stay quiet. We know you. We know you. Make sure your comments come through. As long as we have time and we see them, we'll read some of the comments. So we're going to move forward to our show for today. But before that, as you know, every week we have a health tip. So this week's health tip, even though it's a life and health show, we know stress is health. We still want to make sure we say something that you take home for the entire week. And this week, what we are talking about as a tip for the week is that seasonal allergies has come. Those of us who are in the colder climates, because it's warming up, flowers are blooming, the grass is growing, and for that matter, if you have seasonal allergies, this is the time you're going to see yourself with itchy eyes, sneezing, coughing, congestion, and all those other symptoms. So all that I want to say as a tip is that if you are somebody who suffers a lot, talk to your doctor about it, and they may give you some medication for it. If it is not something that bothers you, you can just live through it. But for those who are seriously affected, we also have over-the-counter medications that you can use. Just make sure you talk to your doctor about it. There's Claritin. There is Benadryl. Makes you drowsy, so we won't recommend Benadryl, but Claritin or Loratadine, as well as nasal sprays for those who have serious nasal symptoms. You may want to talk to your doctor and grab some from off the shelf. It may help you deal with the allergies this season as much as possible. All right, so that is your health tip for the week. Oh my goodness! Yes, keep the thumbs up rolling. I see people watching on other places. Make sure that you comment, and we will see them when your comments come through. All right, so that is your health tip. Let's move on to today's show. And as you can tell, we have, as we said, we are talking about overcoming marital stress. Overcoming marital stress. And so, the summary for our show today, we want to make sure that you stay through the entire show so that you can benefit. So, the summary of our show, we're going to talk about. I've been doing a lot of talking. Gift, you can also help in here.
Okay, so the first one, we are going to review what stress is. We talked about it last week. So we are going to go through quickly what stress is. Then we will talk about how it affects the body. And we also will go through the main topic, causes of marital stress.
All right, so that is one of them, right?
And I think the last one is a result of unmanaged marital stress. So what happens if you are having problems in your marriage and you don't do anything about it? How does it affect you?
All right. So let's go straight to the point. What is stress? As you remember, those who watched last show, if you didn't watch it, we want to make sure you at least you know where we are starting from. So we talked about stress, and stress is the emotional and physical tension, emotional and physical tension that is also a response that comes as a response to some perceived threat. So you may have some thought that maybe you are stressed, maybe something is not going on well. You may not know it's stress, but you may be going through some issues in life and your body masters some chemicals, releases some chemicals and do all those things that we talked about. Go back to the video and watch it, and ensure that you continue to make sure you follow through. So basically, that makes your body releases those chemicals and stuff in response to what it feels is a threat. So that is what stress is. And if you want to add anything to it.
Yeah, so the stress can be physical and it can be emotional. So since we are kind of focusing solely on marital stress, emotionally you feel like there is tension and you are not relaxed among each other, and physically you feel like your body is tensed up, then you know that there is something going on that you have to attend to.
All right. And the thing with marital stress is it's usually ongoing, right? And that is where we actually call as chronic stress. If you remember, again, we said that stress may be okay if it's just an acute situation where you have to run from danger. But when stress becomes chronic, that is where the problem comes. And in marriage, if your problems that are giving you stress are consistently going on, then obviously it becomes chronic stress. And that is what we don't want to have. So we're going to talk about how to overcome those chronic stress. So the first one, the other one we're going to talk about is how does stress affect the body? And then we are going to move ahead with this. All right. So the stress, how does stress affect the body? Again, as a refresher, last week we said that if you have chronic stress, it can lead to heart attack or heart diseases. Your blood pressure will go up, and then also you may have diabetes eventually because you have hyperglycemia or high blood glucose over a long period of time. So that is what happens. And then we also talked about chronic inflammation, right?
Yes, so the release of cortisol that can cause inflammation, and this inflammation can be at your joint area, and that can lead to arthritis. If you are not able to control the inflammation that is being poured into your system.
All right. So due to what we call chronic stress, chronic inflammation may be the result, even though initial cortisol release is not as harmful. But as you remember in our last show, we said that if cortisol releases all the time, what happens is some other chemicals we call inflammatory cytokines will be released, and those are the ones that cause the chronic inflammation and chronic diseases like arthritis, like she already alluded to. All right, so then now let's move on straight to what we are talking about today. So overcoming marital stress. What actually causes marital stress? The first one is already up there. Lack of communication. Honey, what do you think? What do you, or you want me to start? Let me know if you want me to.
So I think during every marriage counseling, like every marriage topic that people talk about, they mention communication as a big thing. So if communication is being lacked in the relationship, then definitely it's going to lead to a lot of things that you feel like you're losing control, and the tension and the misunderstanding will start. So lack of communication is a big one.
So, so when you say lack of communication in marriages, let's talk about some specific examples because it sounds to be a common form of problems that everybody who talks about relationship would definitely mention. But what actually goes on when we say lack of communication? An example, I'll give an example as you also think about one. For example, you have your own duties. The couple have agreed to, so this person picks up the children, the other person, brings them up to school, and for some reason, the person, say the husband who picks up the children from school, something comes up and they forget to communicate that to their spouse. That can lead to problems. And if that happens and you do not communicate, obviously what is going to happen is the wife becomes stressed, or they may keep the child at school, and then both of you become stressed. So that is one typical stress issue that can come up. This is just like an acute situation, it just happened once. But if we talk about more enduring communication issues, that is when people don't communicate at all. They don't talk about anything. All that there is, everybody is, as people say, is on their own lane. Nobody cares about anything that is happening. It's just me, my job, and if I'm taking care of the kids and the kids, my wife comes like the third or whatever, because I'm too busy to communicate. Communicating what you're going through, communicating what is affecting you, communicating even the problems that you feel in the marriage. All those things can lead to chronic stress because the problems will not be going away, but however, you are continuously being stressed. So that is lack of communication from my perspective. I don't know if you want to add anything.
What I would like to add would be like before you got married, there was not effective communication. Maybe I didn't express to you my aspiration, the things that I want to do or accomplish, right? So that communication is missing. So maybe I want to do something as I grow. I want to maybe build a house, or maybe go back to school, or maybe have a better job, or add value to myself. There's so many things that I'm trying to achieve, but because it's not communicated to you, so like throughout the marriage, you feel like you are missing something and you want to achieve something, but your partner is not aware that that's what you want. So it's like a tension between the two of you, because you don't know what is in my mind that I want to achieve. You don't know my aspiration. You don't know
Right.
what I'm seeking for in life. So because there is lack of that information, you are not really understanding some behaviors that is going on, or some things that I do. So maybe you are a person that you want to go into communication, like you want to do Facebook, right? So your actions and
My
everything.
goodness, you're calling Facebook communication now.
So everything, your whole thinking, your whole idea, your whole day is towards that. But because you've not communicated that to me, that that's what you want to do, there is always a tension. Why is it that you spend so much here? Why is it that you do this? How come that you are so into reading? Maybe that's, I want to write a book, but because it's not communicated to you, you don't understand. So through it all, there is tension and misunderstanding because we are not telling each other what our aspirations and our desires are. So we should open up. And normally it happens when you are courting, right? When before you come together, or how many kids do you want? Uh, where do you want to retire? Vacation. Where do you want to go? What's your dream vacation place that you want to go? There's so many things. But if we don't tell each other or we don't bring it out, that will cause a lot of stress because we feel like we are not being fulfilled because my desires are not being met. So
I
that
see.
can be.
I see. So that is Gifty's opinion on communication. So, ladies out there, if you have to do something, you want to do something, and you don't tell the guys, guess what? They won't know because we are not magicians, right? Yeah, and it's a serious thing because, like she said, it may be your aspiration. You want to go to school. You have dreamt of being this person, being a nurse, being this, being that, and you marry and you assume that your husband wants you to because you got to communicate. You got to tell them the fact that that is what you want to do, instead of stressing about it and thinking that nobody is supportive. If that's what you want to do, you have to communicate it. Sometimes too, for us men, I'll use myself as an example. Saying it one time may not cut it. Oh my goodness. Any man on the line, any man on the live, if you agree with me, hit yes, 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 because I know for a fact, I mean, for myself at least, that saying it once may not stick. But when you say it multiple times, then I know you're serious about this thing. It wasn't just something you said in passing. And so I will begin to pay attention to it. So, men, as the ladies always say, we are not attentive to a lot of things. We cannot, they say we cannot multitask. You may have said it when I was very key on some kind of a news item on CNN that I wanted to make sure that I catch. And you told me at that time that you wanted to do something. I, believe me or not, I probably didn't hear you because of where my attention was. And you know that, like, we agree, we cannot as you multitask. And so, make sure you say it multiple times, of course, respectfully, and let your husband know that this is what you want to do. That way, it won't produce stress because not accomplishing what you want can produce stress. If somebody feels like they are not achieving anything in life, it can mean a whole lot to them. It's like they have failed in life. And so, if there's something that you want in a marriage, there's something that you want in your career, there's something that you want for your family, and you do not talk about it, then it's going to be a problem. There's going to be stress. And like as we said, chronic stress is not what you want to be in at, especially those of us who have faith. We believe that marriage is for a lifetime. And if you're going to be stressed for a lifetime, God forbid. All right. So that is a lack of communication, but we have a lot of other stuff that's going to come up. Very interesting stuff. So share the stream.
With the communication too,
Yeah.
we have to be mindful. Like you were saying that you are doing something else, and uh, your attention was on TV,
If
right?
your
And I
attention is
want your
not there.
so like we have to pick the time that both of us are ready to sit and talk.
Oh my goodness. My goodness. I like that.
Yeah.
I know one of those times we'll talk about that.
Yes. So like I know that I am off today, you're off today. We can make time. We can sit down and talk, really talk and try and assess how our life is going. If there is anything that we are missing, we should have time and make it happen. So like nowadays we are busy once a week or once a month or however you want to do it. We have to make the time to really sit down and talk. It's not like talk in person. For the trivial things, we can talk in person, but the important and the big things, we really have to sit down and talk.
My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. And I said I know some of the good times to talk, right? And we'll talk about that as we move forward. Yes, but yeah, I see another comment here. It says education is on from Eric Opoku. All right, nice to hear you from you too. These guys who are not yet married are paying attention. I'm pretty sure the married ones are also paying attention. His marriage is going to be good, bro. All right. All right. Okay, so communication is important. Communication about all it cuts across every aspect of the married couple's life. Finances, you have to talk about money, talk about the children, talk about your vacation, talk about your plans, talk about even the food you eat. Not talking is the first step onto stress. Remember, our goal here is not to talk so much about marriage. We are talking about how to overcome the stress because we are health people. We want to make sure that you don't get stressed because we know the bad effects of stress on your life. So, not talking, as most of you may agree, it's one that makes for a bad marriage, a bad relationship of any kind, no matter what it is. Even in an employee-employer situation, communication is key. If you don't communicate, nobody will know your grievances, nobody will know your problems. And if people don't know and you cannot solve them, then that is where the problem starts. So, because of the way we have structured this show, is now that we have talked about that, let's talk about some ways that we can use to overcome the lack of communication in relationships, so that we solve the problems as we go forward. And if you are watching and you have ideas, like I said, just post it on a comment. If we see it, we'll put it and share with other people. All right. So for me, I believe it's not just enough to know that communication is important. We have to make it a deliberate effort. We make a deliberate effort to talk with our husbands and to talk with our wives. Sometimes they may not be going through any problem, they may not need anything, but we have to establish a channel of communication, whether it is in the morning through your quiet time, or you do it together, or in the afternoon, or in the evening before you sleep. Going to work early in the morning, coming home and going to bed and not talking at all with your family or with your wife or with your husband is not a good thing. And so we have to deliberately talk. I know something about this culture in the US. Communication is huge. You know, communication is huge, and by communication, I know that some people use social media chats and stuff to communicate. But if it is somebody you live with, your wife or your husband, it's got to move beyond "Hi, how you doing? I love you" on the chat to looking the person in the eye and talking together. Even if there's nothing to talk about, create a conversation. That's what I would say. What do you think, Gifty? Do
Yeah. So it's like if there is no communication, there is a lot of assumptions.
assumptions? My
Yeah.
goodness, my
Yeah.
goodness.
So you are very suspicious. You are assuming things. It may not be anything close to the truth, but because you don't know, and it's all guesswork. Oh, because he's not home, he's doing this. Because this is that. Because he's not paying attention to me. Maybe he's interested in
And
someone
somebody
else.
else.
So a lot of assumption, and that can create the stress that we are talking about. So open up, talk. So like little things like what happened during your day. Oh, I talked to this person and the person needed help and I helped. So if during the course of the day the person called, because you have mentioned that, oh, this person had called me, I know right away that, oh, you are in the process of helping somebody. So open up. Just the day to day, we love talking.
You mean the
I know
woman,
the
right?
women
My goodness.
will agree with me.
I didn't say, guys. She said it herself, so you can blame me for saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we just want to communicate, talk. So sometimes he is really quiet. My husband is really quiet, but sometimes if I'm talking, I feel like he's not really paying attention.
My goodness. You put me on the spot, honey.
Yes, but because he's around, I can just pour out, and just talking can also relieve some of your daily stress. So you go to work, you went through something, somebody came over, the person was this to you and all that. But when you come home and you have somebody to share that experience with, that releases the stress. So we have to make it a point of like making a day-to-day activity that we come home, we have few minutes to talk. If our schedule do not allow us to be together at certain times of the day, when we are off or when we have time, we should make time to catch up, review how your week was. What can I do to help? What other thing can I do to make your day better? So sharing each other your time and communicating help release the stress. So as a couple, you have somebody that you can share your life with. Like the people that are not married, they can also find a way of releasing stress through communication with other friends. But you that you have your partner with you, take advantage so that you don't stay in chronic stress and end up with these diseases that we are talking about. So open up and share as much as you can.
All right, honey, I'm going to put you on the spot too. Quick question, guys, for you. What if we are home, the guys, and some lady called? Some women call us. They are also trying to communicate. We also need communication. Wouldn't you ladies be jealous? Or are you talking about communication should only happen between marriage?
Oh no, it's like if I think we'll talk about trust and understanding each other. So if I trust you and I understand you so much and somebody called, why would I be jealous?
All right, all right, all right, all right. And we're going to talk about trust in the coming slides. But I just wanted to make sure that, guys, we don't want to just say we are communicating and it's only your wife. If you church people can call you and talk to you and it's fine, that's good. But of course, if it becomes one sided, like only as for you, only women call you, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be jealous, right? It has to be a balance. All right. All right. So now let's go on to the next one. The next one is financial pressures that brings stress. Financial pressures on marital couples. As I, if I, if you can pardon me, I would say it's probably the number one cause of stress in most marriages. So stress, most people are stressed because of financial pressures in their marriages. And so we want to make sure that in order to reduce stress, we have to overcome the stress of finances in our marriages. Now, just to be complete, we are also going to have one show in which we are going to talk about just the financial pressures, how to overcome stress coming or financial pressures, financial stress, I should say, how to overcome financial stress. We're going to have a show just to do that. But for now, if for married people who are stressed, one of the things that causes that is financial pressures. I don't know if you want to say anything to start it off.
I know that I hear a lot of marriage that are not doing well, like and in divorce, is mainly solely because of the finance. If they are not well managed, so it's a huge one. Financial pressures. Doing things together or somebody trying to cheat the other can cause a lot of stress in the marriage, because if one party feel like they're being taken advantage of and their money is being used anyhow and they are working so hard, definitely there's going to be tension in the marriage. So I think some people try and stay away from this topic as much as possible, because whenever they bring it up, it's likely it's going to cause a huge problem in the house. So the best way that they'll go about it is to stay away from it. We don't talk about money in this house, because if I bring it up, definitely
It's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem. So I'll try and stay away from it. So we don't talk about it. And that's that lack of communication coming in here. Then there is a lot of accusation. Oh, you spend all the money. Oh my God, what are you using the money for, and all that. So the pressure is definitely there. But how can we manage it, or how can we overcome that?
All right, all right. That is good. That is good. My goodness, my goodness. Financial pressures. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start myself because, like she said, it is one of the most important stresses in marriage these days in a couple's life. Financial stress. A huge a huge stack of most of the problems we deal with is with money. Money, 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 money. Either it is because there is a lack of understanding as to how to manage the finances. Either you should keep your money and I keep my money, keep your bank account and I keep my bank account, or we share one bank account and yet you use money too much, I use money too much. It's everywhere you go, there's its own pressure. Keeping your own money, okay, who takes care of the bills? Don't cheat me, pressure. Okay, let's save together. Why are you always spending on this? Every time there's sales at Macy's, you are there, pressure. So which one is then the way to go? So there's the financial pressure and stress over many couples. And many couples, people have become sick at a younger age because they are married, they can't leave this man, they can't leave this woman. Well, technically they can, but that is not something that we encourage people to do just because of financial pressures. And so you want to work things out and it's not working out. Work it out, you try, convince them, it's still not working. What do? And then you become stressed, and that stress can lead to all these diseases that we are talking about. And so it is a very important topic that we need to hit. Now, you may have tried to solve some of the problems yourself, it didn't work, and you still feel like there is room for improvement. So you can seek help. Now we are launching into how to solve the financial pressure or financial stress. How do you overcome that? You can seek for help in that regard. Financial counseling, financial looking for a financial advisor, it's one way. Sitting down together and talking, it's another way. Now, if you don't, the communication comes. If you don't talk about the finances, it will not talk about itself. The only time it will talk is when the bank is not working. When the bank account is not working for you, right? And so you got to have time to talk about the money, how to solve the problems that come with money and finances, and then ensure that you release or relieve yourself of the stress that comes with it, because you're going to have to pay the bills, and your bills will not pay themselves if you are fighting or stressed about money. The other thing or the other way to overcome financial stress or financial pressure in this regard in a marriage is to cut your coat according to your size. Some of us, we see what other people are doing in their marriages, and we want to replicate the same thing. We want to do the same thing because this couple on their honeymoon, they went to Dubai, and so why don't you take me to Dubai? My goodness. My goodness. This couple, they went to the Cayman Islands. This couple went to Puerto Rico, and we have been married even longer than them. Why are we not going there? Pressure. If you cut your coat according to your size, you look at the money you both are making, and it is not, enough. Do something in your own little way and appreciate your spouse for the same thing that you have. Not everybody will have to go to Mexico or Cancun or wherever for the anniversary. The fact that somebody went does not say that you have to go. Do the little things that you both can appreciate, which your money can afford, and appreciate that as much as possible. The Bible says that be content with what you have, and then move on rather than to stress. And you put your husband or your wife under undue pressure. You have to make sure you save to go to Dubai just because this person and this couple went, and we have been married longer than them. No, that's not the way.
One thing is like, if you don't have the money saved, maybe you force your partner to use a credit card. Then you are so much in debt after you come back.
And the stress begins.
The stress begins.
The stress begins.
And maybe your income is not meeting all the expenses and the payment. And now there is stress and everybody is upset. So I think another way we can try and manage it is try and do this financial literacy. Let's educate ourselves. Let's see how we can learn how money works. Because if we don't understand that we can spend something, the money that we don't have, we can spend it because we don't have that money.
We don't have that money.
So if we understand that we are not going to put all this debt on the credit card. If we understand how interest rates works, we can sit down and talk about it and make informed decision that, okay, so because we don't have the money now, let's try and save. So we can work towards savings. Then we get that money, then we can go on that vacation so that we don't put ourselves under this undue stress because we are trying to compete. We are trying to look at other people. You don't know, maybe they are so much in debt or they are using credit card or maybe they have the money to spend. But we know how much I'm making. You know how much I'm making. We know our expenses. We can sit down and talk about what budget. We know that every month we can put aside $200. So if we do that, how many years is it going to take us
for us to be able to buy,
go and go to Dubai?
Go to Dubai. Then you work towards it.
Yes. Should I have to take extra hours, or should I take a second job so that my dream will come sooner? Then we do it. So if we are communicating and we understand how finance work, how money works. There is no way that we are going to put ourselves under any undue pressure. Then we are going to stress throughout our marriage and lead to all this
Problems, medical
illness,
problems. Yeah.
medical problems that will come our way. So let's open up. Let's learn. If we are not informed, let's get the understanding of money and make informed decisions.
And that being said, we have about 20, if I'm not mistaken, we have at least 20 shows in which we talked about finances. And you can start off from there. That is a lot of information because we're both licensed financial agents. So you can do that, and that will be a start off for you. But like I said, we are going to have a separate show to talk about stress with finance, financial stress in our series on stress. So this is the first one, or the second talk on stress. We're going to do a financial stress also, and we'll go deeper into how to overcome that. So that is the number 2 of the causes of marital stress. The number 3, as you can see, is social pressures. Social pressures, friends and family. And that is another huge one. My goodness. My goodness. I have seen newlyweds or couples go through an undue pressure, untold difficulty, just because of what their parents or family may be requiring of them. For those of you who have the experience of not having child right after the marriage, some families can become a thorn in the flesh. They can give you an undue stress. The pressure, you may not even be thinking about it. Somebody told me that when they got married, they were actually protecting themselves from getting pregnant right away because they had made some plans. And the family was like, why are you not having children? Why are you not having children? You should have a child. Meanwhile, the couple had not even agreed yet among themselves to start having babies. So family pressure can be serious if you are not blessed to have a family that understands, or a family that knows a little bit about culture, and all that they know is if you marry, you gotta give me the grandkids, you gotta give me the children, you gotta do this, this because if you're married, this is what has to happen. If you are not lucky, or I should say blessed, to have a parent or an in-law that would understand your situation, you can be living in hell in your own marital home. And that is an undue stress that you can live with. Imagine if it's going to take you a while. That can make you stressed if you don't manage that stress. And so that is, from my perspective, what families can do. Some families, on the other hand, can be very supportive. We got to be balanced here. Some families can be very supportive. They would support you, encourage you, help you, suggest things for you, and all that. They would not even act like there's something wrong. But others, God have mercy. My goodness. Others, God have mercy. What do you have to say on that,
Yeah,
Gift?
with the social pressures, maybe this family sent their child, maybe their boy child, to school. In their mind, they think that son is going to take care of the family. So the son is going to cater for everything that they need. Okay, so you are married and now you are in a relationship with your wife, and you've sat down, you've agreed that you're going to do this, you're going to do that. But because of that pressure coming from your family, you are kind of stressed because now you have to take care of your family and take care of your nuclear family. So your extended family, they are expecting a lot from you. And your nuclear family, you are also building your new family. So that can be a lot of stress on you because financially you have to take care of your extended family and you have to take care of your nuclear family. So your plans and things may not be, and maybe your partner may have come from another family that nobody depend on them for anything. So it's just that it's only you, and you feel like you are going through a lot of stress because you have to make your family, your extended family, happy, in addition to making your your wife also happy. So especially if you don't marry your own culture. So some cultures don't do that at all. Some other cultures do. So if you are from a different culture, they look at you like, are you crazy?
Why do you send money
Why
to
should
your
you keep
mom,
sending money?
to your family?
But if you understand the other person's culture, you know that that's what is expected of you. So if it's different cultures, there is a lot of clash because you are being stressed for not taking care of your family, and now you are being expected to do something more that you cannot handle.
My
So
goodness. My goodness. My goodness. Now the culture issue is even, it brings it to a whole new ball game, whole new level, right? Because the culture brings with it the expectations of the person's family too, which is different. You know, the spouse's family is expecting something else along with the spouse that is from a different culture. And then also you have to deal with your own family's expectations
yeah.
and your expectations. So it's a clash of the titans, right? But that being said, if you're able to educate your family, sometimes that would be all you got to do. Educate your family about the culture of your spouse. Let them be aware that this culture, this is how we treat, a family. This is how we do stuff for family, and consistently with love, they would come to the point. I've seen intercultural, different races actually marrying, and it's some of them are actually looking like the best marriages. Why? Because they have both come to agreement that our backgrounds may never be the same,
Mhm.
and yet whatever we have, we put this together to form a new a new family altogether, and they work out perfect. So it all depends on how you manage it. If you allow the pressure to get you, and you sort of voice your pressure on your spouse, then you are doomed for failure. And your stress level is going to skyrocket. You're going to be so stressed because, for example, your mom or your dad is expecting this from you and your husband's culture says that no, we don't do this. We don't do this, for simple things that may easily be taken. So if you are not going to be able to manage that, the stress is going to increase. And again, we are more concerned with the stress, so much more about the stress, because we don't want you to become sick as a young person just because of marriage. So the stress has to be tempered. We have to definitely. So, and we also want to talk about friends. Apart from family, friends can be a lot of problem. Some of the things I've heard, not like I've heard from the horse's own mouth. A guy who married, who brought, they migrated, to this place, and the wife became attached to a friend, quote, and I'll call quote and unquote, because a good friend wouldn't do that, right? A friend that was polluting the wife's mind, saying that why you allow your husband to go to school. He will go to school, he will graduate, he become this, and then you know what? He's going to leave you and marry somebody else, probably more beautiful, more educated than you. And so this wife continuously resisted the husband from educating themselves just because of what the friend said. Meanwhile, this husband was, the person who told me this was the man. This man was genuinely caring for the family. He wanted to lift up his family from poverty. He wanted to make sure that he excels so that his family can look up to, his children can look up to him. And this friend that talked to this man's wife completely turned the wife against him. And this is a real story. This man was going to school to become a nurse, and this man's, life was ruined because of a friend. So let's watch the friends that bring undue pressure on us and on our marriages. If your friend is advising you to leave your wife or your husband for whatever reason, ask them if, first of all, if they are married. If they are, tell them if they never have a pressure, then they should continue to stay. But with your pressure and your stress, you are going to manage the issue and stay there. Because some people are very good at telling you to leave. And one, they don't have some for themselves. And two, what they have, they are jealous of what you have. My goodness. My goodness. And so they make you feel very, very stressed. They may actually put you in stress because of all the things that you could have become. You know, if you did this, this is what your husband would have done for you. Or if you had done this, this is what your wife would have done for you. Oh, these men, we don't treat men like this anymore. This time, no, 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 no. Don't leave him like that. He's going to cheat on you. Meanwhile, the man is not like that. The man is, a man of faith, a man, of substance, a man who is focused with goals and stuff like that. But this friend, my goodness, my goodness.
And I think with the friends too, we can think of it this way, that some friends will start telling you stuff that may not be true, but they will tell you, tell it in such a way that they are having fun in their marriage.
The marriages,
you
my
know?
goodness.
So like they will be like, oh, my husband gave me 5,000 for shopping. My husband did this to me, and then my husband did that to me. Some things that the person is sharing with you, and to you feel like you are missing out. You are missing something in your marriage. Then you are going to go back to your husband and say that, how come that you don't do this for me? This friend of mine is having this, doing that, traveling around, going shopping, having all the Gucci bags, or doing that. How come that you can provide for me? You are a lazy man. You have to work harder. You have to bring in more money and take care of me. So you're going to put undue pressure on the relationship because of what you are hearing from the friend. The friend may be lying for all that you know.
All that you know. Most of the time is lies.
Yeah, so
most of the time they are jealous. And they're
have
trying to make you look like you are the one that is suffering. But if you really look in deep into it, they are actually jealous of your man or your wife. They're just trying to, out of their own insecurity, they are doing that. That's what I'm saying. For such people, check on them. See if they are actually really, truly happy in their marriage. They will make you feel like yours is a bomb. Yours is bad. Yours is dirty. And yet, if they were to tell you what their own problems are, you would be marveled. And so, let no friend put you under undue stress in your relationship.
And sometimes they may be telling you the truth. Me, my husband cook for me every day. He served me lunch when I come home. He laid the bed. He does the grocery. He's doing a lot. It may be true. So if you know your man that he is not good in that area, why do you want to come back to him and ask him to do the same thing that your friend's husband is doing? Maybe he enjoy doing that, or maybe he has extra time on his hand. Your husband do not. Your husband is not comfortable in the kitchen. Why do you want to put undue stress on him, demanding something that he cannot meet, he cannot do? So don't allow other people things.
My goodness. Men on the live, man. We are taking hope from here. My goodness.
To affect your relationship. On the other hand, too, maybe your wife is good in one area, another wife is good in a certain area. Maybe your friend is like, oh, my wife served me 3 meals a day. Maybe the wife is a stay-home mom. And your wife is a full-time worker. How do you compare? Why are you demanding so much from your wife? Because there is no way that she can keep up. And sometimes they have special skills. Maybe your friend may have a wife that is outspoken, that can do certain things. Your wife cannot do that. Why do you want to put pressure on your wife? So we have to know each other so well so that we don't put undue pressure on each other and cause a lot of stress in the relationship.
Stress. Because stress is a killer. Friends, we are not just talking about this. We know how stress can damage your life. And before we wrap up, we actually mentioned a few again before we wrap up. But social problems and pressures can bring undue stress in marriages. Check your friends. If your friend is making you feel worthless or feel like inadequate in your marriage, talk to them. I'm not saying go leave them, but look at them with 2 eyes now. If you are looking at them with 2, which I think everybody has, you probably should add 2 more, like with the second pair of glasses, with a lens, because they may not be doing you good. That husband that you are staying, or that wife that you are living with, if that person leaves you, you will regret, because somebody else will see them as God because of the other good side of them. That's another thing that I wanted to bring out. Look at the brighter side of your wife or your husband. for that matter. They may, like you said, may not be perfect. Nobody is perfect. So if somebody's husband is cooking for them, maybe in other areas they cannot do. So yeah, you cook. Maybe I go for groceries. I do all the groceries. I do the laundry. So everybody has their own things that they can bring to the relationship that makes the stress go down. But don't let anybody, friends, family, whoever, come and tell you to be stressed because of what they feel like you are not doing or you are doing. So
Yeah. So like another person be like, why do you let your husband or your wife control you like that?
mhm.
So like if you're a guy and you have to go home because oh my god, my wife is home, I won't be home, and you leave your friends, they'll be like, how come do you let your wife control you like that? Me, I don't let my wife control me like that. I don't let my wife do this, do that. It's just the friend pressure. You know that your wife we don't have time together, but the little time that you can stay together is the time that you have your quality time. So why do you want to listen to friends, and stay out and not come home? You know that when you come home, there is going to be war.
Yes, and then you do that.
Then the stress will begin. So just try and not to let friends dictate to you how your marriage is supposed to be.
All right, all right. Now before we move on though, I just want to also say about the control. Some women are controlling, honey. Men on the live or men watching after the replay, some women may also be over controlling. So in that case, some of the men may be telling the truth. So ladies, loosen your control a little bit. Let your hands go free a little bit. Let the man also, sometimes have time with his friends. And if you do that, of course, you have to strike a balance. You can't stay out all day or all night with your friends and your wife at home alone. You remember communication. And we are going to go to another one that is even more. Don't leave. Don't leave. That is even more fun than that. But also, don't do the extreme. So I check. Always I talk about striking a balance between what other people are saying and what you think should be done. And if it's the right thing, then go with the right thing. The balance is the most important thing. So yes, women don't control and men don't take advantage, because of anything of that sort.
And if you hear that and it's true that your husband or your wife is not treating you right, or he's not really taking care of you, or he's burdening you so much, and your friends are telling you, and you can look down within and you know that is true, yeah, you can try and find solution to that
Exactly.
too.
Talk to the wife and let them know that you can't do that. As a matter of fact, well, I don't go there because I know I can get in trouble here. Yeah, the Bible says that the men are the head, right, of the household or the family, and so if there should be a control, it's got to come from the men. Not that we should control. Remember last time on our stress talk from the beginning, we said that sometimes you have to let things run the way they may. You cannot control everything as a man. So you get to let certain things go. But women, please don't control us. All right. So now let's go to the next one. The next one is lack of intimacy. My goodness. My goodness. I hope Jerry is still on the live. Yes. I was talking about this topic and he was giving some ideas. So Jerry, bring your points as we go forward. So lack of intimacy. Now, before we hit it, if you are watching and you haven't shared the live stream yet, please hit the share. After you do the thumbs up, that means that you like the show for other people to like it. The next thing to hit is the share. And if you haven't followed or you are not following the channel, you just happen to hop on today, hit the follow button. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button so that we can, have fun Sunday afternoon conversations together on the live and health show. But yes, lack of intimacy. So before I move forward, intimacy, just so you know, it's not just sex. Sex is one, but intimacy includes cuddling. Intimacy includes having what Apostle Ofori said one time in his talk when he was here. Apostle Ofori of the Church of Pentecost. He said that we should have tea, coffee talk, something like that. I don't know if the exact words. You remember that, right?
Time.
Tea time, where you and your spouse, you serve yourself tea and you sit at a table looking at each other in the face,
Eyeball
to eyeball, and you talk. That is intimate time. And so it's not just sex. It is intimate time or close time with your spouse. So that is one aspect of intimacy. Intimacy includes laying down together on your bed and just talking, just talking, breathing on each other and talking. That is intimacy. Intimacy includes taking a walk and holding each other's hand and walking, taking a long walk together in the neighborhood or wherever. I never see people do that among our culture. And I see the American culture, we see it a lot, but in other cultures, it is a taboo. Your child never sees you holding your husband's hand, or your wife doesn't. Basically, we don't show any affection, no intimacy. It's just like raw. It's just rigidness, and so intimacy affects all that area. Sex, of course, is number one because it's the ultimate closeness, because you are into each other. But all the other things that lead to it, the holding, the touching, the hugging, the all the other things that you can talk about, they all are included in intimacy. And lack of it leads to stress. My goodness. Lack of it leads to stress. You want to talk? You want to say anything about it?
Let's continue.
All right. So basically, honey, don't hide here. Why you say let's continue? All right. So basically, yeah, Jerry, no, say what you want to say. Law is not enough, my man. You want to say something? Say something. All right. So basically, yeah, to be intimate, as we alluded to in our last show, is to have sex is one of them. If you are lacking sex, there's going to be stress. That's how we are wired. Our bodies, some of our emotions and the way we think, the way we do our stuff. If you are married and you don't do it, you are not in that. There's going to be stress, no matter what. Stress for the woman or stress for the man, it happens. It is nature, because it's part of the marriage, or part of the relationship is to do it. And so if that is not done, there's going to be stress. That is one.
And I've heard that with the guys, I think if you hold it in for too long, you feel like you're tensed. So releasing it also help relieves that stress, right?
My goodness, my goodness. Take all the kids away, man. The kid is going deep. Take the kids out. All right. Yeah. So tension, right? Body, physical tension, right?
Yes.
Like she's saying, physical tension increases without sex. And so having sex release yourself as a man to be free. And women too. Honey, don't act like it's only the men. I think it's both sides, but
Yes.
it's more with the men. I hear what you're saying. It's more with the men, and of course, it is something that we need to do to take ourselves from stress. So physical tension is something that increases. So women on the live and men, try it. If you are always stressed around, if your husband is always stressed, make sure you add the spice and see if it will make some difference. Maybe you're not doing it enough, or you do it stressed. But focus on it in another way and see how that is going to help with the
And
stress.
also during intimacy, you release this chemical in the brain,
That makes you feel
that
relaxed.
makes you feel relaxed and content and happy. So why don't you release that chemicals if you have your partner, so that it can work on the stress and release all the negative that come for being stressed.
All right. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be dopamine involved by all means. Dopamine was a feel good hormone.
Yes.
Maybe serotonin, and all those other good endorphins probably too.
Endorphins.
Yeah. But definitely, yes. Physiologically, that's what we should say. Physiologically, according to our body's own needs, when you do have intimacy, you have a reduction in stress. So stresses in marriages can go down. That's not the only thing. You have to have all those other things we've talked about. But definitely, stresses on marriages can be reduced if intimacy is increased.
Yeah. So, like, if there is lack of intimacy, it's likely that there is something going on in the marriage. So, if you want to address it, if there is no communication, it's likely that it's going to affect intimacy. Because if you don't have time for me, I don't have time for you, it's likely that we are not going to be intimate. So, having time for each other If you feel like it's lacking, there should be a way to talk it out. If the man feel like he's the only one asking for it all the time, it means that something is wrong somewhere. Sometimes it may be that the woman do not enjoy it because of maybe the physical change in the body. You can try and find solution and see how what you can do so that the woman can also enjoy the intimacy or sex.
All right, all right, all right, all right. And the other point you brought up that was very good was about having time for each other. I was talking with Jerry again, and Jerry mentioned that um, one of the things that they do is on their birthdays, they take the day off. So if it's my birthday, we take that off, you take it off, and then you spend that time all with each other. And I'm like, we've been married for all these years, we never thought about it. This year, when it was my birthday, I worked 13 hours. Shit, my goodness.
So at least you have 2 days guaranteed in the year.
In the year,
right?
2 days, just for you, just for the two of you. The kids will go to school and everything, and then you yourself, because it's your day of birth, you have that
Why
for,
did you
for
work
yourself.
in your birthday though?
Why did I work?
I think you didn't plan
I
for
didn't plan, but those are some of the little things that we can do. We take everything for granted. I should say you don't have time. I'm probably thinking about, if I don't work, who's going to go work on my stead, and how it's going to be terrible when I go back. So those things can wait if it comes to the two of you. So that's one thing that I'm taking to the bank. I'm going to make sure that on your birthday we are taking it off. So you better talk to your supervisor. And going forward, we're going to do that. So little things, it's the closeness. That's what I'm saying. It's not just the sex. And sometimes the closeness will itself bring on the sex. If you are not close, you can be far apart, and then in the night you want things to happen. Already you are separated. You're mentally completely removed from each other. You are not talking. You don't agree on anything. You are fighting on money. You are your family is pressuring you. All those things we have already said. Your friends are bothering you. So how can you then have intimacy? How can you then go together and have sex? It's not going to happen. And if it happens, you are not going to enjoy, because it's become mechanical. It's like you have to do it, so you are doing it. And like Gifty said, that could be the problem why, the reason why maybe one person is not asking. It's only one person, because they are not being fulfilled in the area. So intimacy is something that we need to do in order to avoid marital stress. You have anything else to add on that? All right. So then I think this is the last one, is children. Children can also bring huge and tremendous marital stress. Children, a lot of stress can come with children. How to keep up, how to take care of children, especially if you live in the US. It is not easy. Not only is it expensive, but it's time consuming. In other places, you can have children and just send them to their grandparents, and then they will just live there. Once they are of age, you go get them, and then you take care of them. So all the stresses that you see in 2 year olds and 3 year olds, the stubborn two, stubborn three, you miss them all. And so when we talk about something like, you'll be like, what are you talking about? But for us in the US and other Western parts, you have to live with the children. You may send them to babysitters, but even the stress of having to wake up early in the morning to bring the kids to babysitter, to the kindergarten, or to school, and going for them and coming. If you don't take care, it will be so much that you even avoid each other. And the stress continues, and you get sick from stress. And so that is my take on stress. What do you think?
Yeah, not having children is a big one.
It's
Not
also
having,
stressful.
yeah, it's very stressful because sometimes you go out there, you see some couple, they have their kids with them. You see pictures with family pictures, and you see everybody like around you have children, and you look at your spouse and you feel like something is missing. It can be really very stressful socially, and people that are talking to you, they don't really understand your situation, and they are making some insinuation like, oh, this girl, da 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 da. It can be very stressful. And another thing too, like you can watch maybe your husband hold the child, and the way that they will hold the child, you feel like, oh my God, I can't give my husband a child. You become so stressed, and that can be very huge. You can find ways and means to find solution with that. But with having children, if you're not careful, it's going to affect everything. I think they control everything. especially when they are young. They control the time you sleep, the time you wake up, the time you go, everything. They control everything. And when they start growing, it's likely that you have to find extra curriculum. It's going to, you're going to go to school, you're going to attend some meetings. You have to let them have everything, all the basics that they need to develop very well. So if you're not careful and one spouse feel like they are doing all the work and the other person is not paying that much attention, like even doing homework with kids, one person will be like, just do with them. And the other person is like, how come that you don't do the homework with them? So that can bring stress in the marriage. So as couples, you have to find ways and means to cater for that.
All right, my goodness, that's good. That's good. All right, so how do we then solve these stresses? How do we overcome these stresses? Now, for as far as having children or not having children, what I would say is you have to see yourself as first. You have to come first. You cannot let what people think lead you into how you live your life. It makes sense,
It's
right?
very hard,
Very
though.
important. Yeah. No, it becomes hard when you think so much for what they want. What about what you want? It's not like you don't want the kids. They don't know what you have gone through. Maybe how many miscarriages you have gone. You can't go out and say that, hey, me, I could have had children, but I had miscarriage. I had this. You can't go and share that with them.
Yes.
So they may say that, oh, she never had. Well, if you had counted how many times you've lost it, maybe it would. But you can't go and tell them stuff like that. And you can't go and share your own peculiar situation. So what you do is you don't let what people, and that again goes to the friends and family thing, precious. You don't let what people expect become what ruins your life. If it is with you and your husband, as long as you and your husband have an understanding of what you want, that's you first. It's you first, the two of you for each other. Children are a plus if they come, but if they don't, you have each other. That is the most important thing. Because if you don't take care and you let the social pressures, I've seen people who have decided one they won't even marry, let alone have children. I mean, in the West, that it is there. Some people say I'll have only one. Some people say I don't have time for kids. My career, this, and that. But in some cultures, it's like automatic. If you have married, you have to. Who says that you don't have to? We pray that everybody who wants it gets it. Prayer and all those treatments and stuff. But if it hasn't happened, first, you don't give up. You don't give up on yourself. And second, you don't let what people may think ever in one day dominate your life. We all came one by one on this earth. And to allow somebody's pressure to stress you and destroy your life, that is the worst thing you can do for yourself. And trust me, it's not like not feeling that, you haven't been in that situation before. That's why you're talking like that. No, there are other things. I understand that it's not easy. But would you like what somebody expects actually destroy your life? Now, that's where we're going with stress. So the stress is, actually also destroying your own life just because of stress. And we don't want that stress to do that. And some people have not been able to get even their children because they are stressed. Already they are thinking and thinking. If they were to overcome stress and just allow themselves to live their joyful life that God has given them, the children will start coming. But if you yield onto pressures, somebody, and it's not easy for our society. I've seen women who are of age to marry. No man has come around yet. And people will go to them and say, and you two, when are you going to marry? As if they are the ones who's going to create a husband for them. So insensitive. My goodness. My goodness. So insensitive. When are you going to marry?
When are you going to have kids?
When are you going to have kids? So they themselves, they don't know that they are growing and that, of course, a man is good to be around with. That is being insensitive, so insensitive that you make this lady go and they weep and weep and weep in their chambers. Why? Because you are stressing them off. Instead of you to stay quiet and pray in your bosom for them and encourage them, you are making their problem even worse. So people are people. There's some people, I would say they are unwise. No matter what preaching they will hear at church, they will still come out and make certain outbursts. It is unwise, unwisdom. Because if you are really wise and smart, you watch some of the things. When I learned how people go through pain from what other people say, I'm careful. When I see somebody going through issues of life, I just don't go and ask them why you do. Come on, man. You who are on the side, who are observing, you think you know they need it. You think they themselves they don't
They
know?
don't know.
Oh my goodness. Give me a break. My goodness. And so we have to make sure that you are being sensitive, because if you are not, you are going to hurt people and make them even more even more in problem, and we don't want that to happen. And I see another comment here from Reverend Desmond Cranton. He says, "Good topic, good topic. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." And you know, you've been on the show before, and soon we'll come and get you again. So, all right.
Yeah. And with the children part, that can be very dicey because you don't know how heavy it is on the individual, you know. And I think it happened to Sarah, right, in
Sarah,
the
yeah.
Bible. So like sometimes even people from our culture, when the husband travel, they are worried because I know some people will advise them that, okay, because I can't have kids, you can take another woman and have kids with them. You know, some women can bring it up to the husband, especially if the problem is with the woman. Sometimes it's not just the woman, it's the man too having that problem. You know, so we don't have to be so quick to talk to people like that or to draw their attention. You don't know what you're going through. And like we discussed, the stress is something that we can control. So if you can control the people around you coming to you and telling you when are you going to have kids, or out bursting some comments that will stress you up, control you, you
Mm-hmm.
know, control you, because you tell yourself that you are not going to let whatever people are saying around you get to you. You and your husband should have a conversation that this is our problem. We've prayed for it. We prayed to God. We are waiting on God for miracle, but it's not happening. But we are not going to let that dictate the course of this marriage. We are going to live above it, you know, and we are going to move forward together. So when children topic comes, we've already talked about it at home. We are all relaxed around each other. We don't let that control us so much to create that stress, constant stress throughout the marriage. You are so worried that it will end up with these diseases that we are talking about. So just block your mind and keep hoping and praying that God will bless you one day. And don't let anybody stress you out because of what they think you should do. And
Because
don't
of what
depend on
they
that.
think.
What they think. No,
What
you
they
don't want
think.
that.
And the other thing about children and stress is when your children are older. When your children are older, that is a
Different ball game.
huge ball game. Especially, well, right now it's everywhere, whether it's in the West or in the East. Children who are becoming teenagers, we have the terrible twos and threes, but those they are, you basically detect for them and you tell them and they do it. But when they become teenagers, when they begin to go to high school and college, you see that they are still your children, but they see that they are your children, but adult children, young adults at least, I should say. And that is not easy. Sometimes that can also lead you to tremendous stress. And so you have to also have your brakes and shocks and shock absorbers. If your children are going to become teenagers and go to college, those of you who are already in that realm, you know what I'm talking about. And so don't also let their lives stress you. Do what you can. As I was saying last time to the men's group that I spoke to, do what you can, what you have control over. Do that. You pray for them, you raise them in the church, you tell them what they have to do and all that. But at the end of the day, it is their choice. It is their choice. The most important thing you can do for them is to pray for them. Because in that case, you leave them to God for God to control. You have to let that happen because you will lose control over your children who are growing and becoming adults. Most of us, when we were kids, our parents told us, you have to go to college and do this. You can't do that to your kids anymore.
Not in this country.
Not in this place. You have to educate them and they will choose what kind of program they want to go for and pray for them. You can probably offer them other advice and options and show them real life examples. They may listen. But if they don't, so be it. Just pray that wherever they are, God is going to steer their life. into the place that God Himself has made for them. So don't stress yourself so much if your children are being wayward or going through a lot. Some parents are dealing with kids that are trying to do drugs, following, bad friends and stuff like that. Yes, we know you are stressed. Leave it to God. Do your part. Bring them to church if you can, and do your part. The most you can do again is to hide them in the blood. Just keep praying for them, and that is the best, because in that case you leave their future in the hands of God, for God to take care of, rather than to stress and stress and stress.
Some people will go to the extent that if you don't do this or if you don't go to college, some of them will end up saying that I don't think college is for me.
Oh yeah, last time
And
we had a
college is
show,
overrated.
they already alluded to the fact
Yeah.
that college may be overrated.
And some parents will be like, if you don't do this, you're not coming to my house. You are on your own.
own.
You're staying out of my house. There is always stress when you're around them. Don't over control them.
Yes.
Sometimes just let them be. They will have their own experience, and definitely they will come back and seek your advice. But if you want to control and control and control, we have some kids that became home. One kid that became homeless because they don't want to go home, and because they have a huge fight with their parents, they are not going home, and they are going around asking their friends to stop by and take showers in their house and all that. Why should that be? Because of the stress that the parents are giving them, and she also giving to them.
Oh my goodness. So in this particular part, they actually stress on both sides. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that's even worse.
Yeah, so
That is.
we don't have to over control. Just let them be, and if they decide not to go to college, help them set up a different path. There are lots of opportunities, and definitely whatever they want to do, they may indeed not need college. So we parents too, we have to educate ourselves.
My goodness. If we are well educated, we probably won't be as stressed as we are, right?
Yes. So if you know that college is not only the way, and they have other options in life, help them, guide them, and together maybe figure out what else. Where is their interest? What are they able to enjoy as they do? They don't want to be stressed as you and I have been. They don't want to kowtow to this at time like 9 to 5 kind of job. They don't want to do that. They want to take a different path altogether. So we will advise that don't stress yourself. If college is not for them, that's what they're saying. Bring it up. That college is important because you will stand out if you go to college. But if they insist that, no, Dad, I don't need college, give them options, other options, so that they can also learn their path and it may be successful.
My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. That is wisdom. So I actually didn't even think about the stress that we give to the young ones. I thought they were always stressing us.
No, when you talk to them,
But if you talk to them, they will also tell you are stressing us out, because they have their own outlook of life, especially in a culture where you probably didn't grow in, and you think that they should think the same way you thought when you were growing up. They probably wouldn't. But again, like Gifty is saying, you have to make sure that you allow them room also to operate. Your parents, you have to guide them, provide for them, and ensure that they end up good. But me, the I think there's the best thing I think after coaching and teaching them scripture, doing quiet times and all those things, praying and fasting with them and all that. Ultimately, I learned this from actually our former pastor. What's his name? Oh,
Amanfo.
Pastor Amanfo. Pastor Amanfo was on a personal level. He said, "Pray for your children," and he shared some testimonies. It's the greatest thing you can do for them, I think, at least from what I experience and what I know now, is to pray for them. They're yelling, they're screaming and shouting and making, hitting them, and all those don't do anything. You just relax and pray for them. Let God take control, because without God, what can you do? You can only do so much, and if you don't take care, the kid will even call the cops for you. You call the cops and you'll be arrested. And why? Because you think you are doing them the best. You're trying to guide them, but they think different. So if telling them and advising them and all those things don't work out, stick to the one that always works, prayer. Just pray for them and start praying for them, their relationships, their marriage, and all those good stuff. And watch God take care of them for you. So, no, we are not going to be stressed because of our children. No matter what they do, we will live our lives as people, as young people and as couples, and we will not be stressed. And I believe that's what we want you also to agree on as we move forward. You have anything to add now?
Okay.
All right. So the last one is trust. I think we have already exhausted this a little bit. But if you don't trust your partner, or if you don't trust the couples, don't trust each other, then obviously there's going to be stress. Because guess what? I'm going to stay late today, honey. If she doesn't trust me and you're staying work late, all that will happen within the time that you are not back is to stress. Oh, where did he go? Where did he even go? He said he's staying late for work. But at this time, I don't think there's anybody at work. Where is this man? Stress, stress, stress. And if this man is going to be doing this job for a long time, imagine how much stress you're going to go through.
Mm-hmm.
That is where you come sick. So trust is something that we learn to have. We have to learn to trust our people. If at some point you don't trust them, let them know. Communication again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let them know, honey, because of this, and that. I don't trust that when you're saying you're not coming home right now. You're staying at work. I don't believe it. So you have to prove me. Talk to them. And the men we also have to be humble enough to admit that, okay, if you don't trust me, I'm going to prove it again. This is my location. You can use my phone's location to see if. Yeah. That, if that's going to give you the peace of mind, share your phone's location. As a matter of fact, couples, you have to have your phone's location shared. I don't know if you are not already doing it, but your wife must be able to tell where you are at any point in the day. Every phone has a location system. If you cannot share your location with your wife or spouse, then how can they trust you? If you can't share that, how can they trust you? So you got to prove to them that what you're saying is the truth, and it's not just because you go to church or you're a believer. Let it be plain so that they won't even have the cost to you, because you may be a believer, but God only knows you alone. Whenever church is over, all the women want to talk to you. I don't know why. You alone. You alone, all the women want to talk to you after church. Just you alone. As for you, I don't know how audacious you are. And so your wife is concerned and be like, no, honey, I don't want this to be happening. Let me know where you are. Share me your location. Don't argue and say that I'm a believer. Why are you thinking I'm an ad? No. If she wants you to share, share if you have nothing to hide. And so by doing that, you already establish that trust and you make that person relax so she won't be stressed. And once they begin to trust you, they themselves will remove all those, things that they needed to see first. But if you say that, no, I'm not going to share, if you don't trust me, go away. Go talk to pastor if you don't trust me. Then, of course, you are making the things even worse. So let's be upfront, plain, and that will increase the trust or the trust for each other, and we will be less stressed. What do you think?
Yeah. So some couples don't even share phones. They are,
Oh my goodness!
you don't know the password.
You don't know the password.
You can't even go through the phone without him getting all worried.
My goodness.
And maybe the text messages, the communication between other people, they hide that all from you.
My goodness.
So if you do that, definitely the other partner is not going to trust you because you're hiding something. Some people do the weekend business trip.
Mm-hmm.
They take the business trip on
every
weekends.
weekend. They take business trip.
Yeah, and maybe that this may not be true, but they use that and they travel and they are somewhere, and the trust is broken. So if you are in a relationship like that, you are always stressed.
You're always stressed.
You are always stressed.
Yeah, everything is suspicious.
This man, is he telling me the truth? Where is it true that wherever he says he's going, that's where he's definitely at? He stay up at night. What does he do on the computer? There is no trust.
No trust.
No trust, and that can be very stressful because if you're suspecting each other of cheating or each other of doing something that is being hidden from one another, it's likely that it's going to create stress in the relationship.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. So let's
So we
avoid
have to
stress.
be open book, like
Open
you're
book,
saying.
open book. Leave your phone when your wife is coming and your phone is there. Don't pick it up, and your wife must have your lock screen password. And you know my lock screen password, right?
Yeah, I think so.
My goodness! Oh, you were scaring me there. You do, you do, and I know yours. And that is how it's supposed to be. Nothing to hide. Password to your bank account. Nothing to hide. And if you can be trusted in that area, then your stress is reduced a bit. At least one level is gone, but you still got to communicate because you still got to be intimate. You got to do all the other stuff that we talked about, but stress definitely. So I think this is where we are actually ending on the causes and how to manage them. Now, if we do not, you want to say anything?
I think it's the time.
Oh wow, we are right on the hour and a half mark. We're about to close now. So now, if we do not do all those managing things that we have shared on the live about how to manage those causes of stress, then what would happen is you become a person with increasing mental health problems. Mental health problems become something that will fall in place, and that include depression and anxiety, most common forms. So many women are depressed in their marriages. Many men are depressed in their marriages because of unmanaged stress, unmanaged marital stress. Now, if you manage your stress in your marriage, this may not happen. That being said, not all depression are from marital stress. Depression can be organic.
Right.
It's in chemical imbalance, but definitely these unmanaged stresses could also lead to stress. You want to say anything?
Let's go.
And then the other thing is, as we alluded to, unmanaged marital stress, chronic for a long time, could lead to diabetes, it could lead to hypertension, and it could lead to heart disease. And so the reason for this show is not so much about a marriage, but so much about what it can be to your body so that you won't get sick just because you are married. So deal with the stresses, anything that causes you to feel threatened. Remember, stress is a feeling of tension, a feeling of threat, like something is not working right. If you deal with those things, not only are you going to enjoy your marriage, but the good thing is you are going to have a better health. Your risk for heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension will decrease. Now, some of us, because of our parents who had high blood pressure, we may also have high blood pressure, you may also have diabetes. But if you add on top of it stress, then yours become worse. You cannot even manage it. Every medication will be given to you and your pressure will not go down. There may be other things that's going on. So help with stress and ensure that you do not end up even sicker if you're already sick. All right. So that is what I think I think we're going to end the
I
show.
think Eric posted
Eric
something.
has also said something against. What did he say? He said a lot has been learnt. Very insightful. Oh my goodness! Thank you, Eric. That is great. That is great. I know I'm looking out for your marriage to be one of the best. So, bro, you better choose right and learn more. All right. So, yes, if you still have any comments, anything to share on the live as we are about to close, you can type it now. And if we don't see it now after the show, we may see it and we will respond accordingly. But those who watch on the replay, also you can also comment and share your ideas. All right. So, in the interest of time, we are going to end the show right here, and we know what screen is. All right. We're just going to end the show today, and we say
And
you have
I
something.
think in conclusion,
Oh, we also have to tell people we have more on these. Anyway, go ahead.
okay, so in conclusion, I'll say that there is no perfect marriage, and there is no way that every relationship to be right on point. There is no perfect marriage, but there is peaceful marriage.
My goodness.
There is peaceful marriage.
Where did you get that from, man?
So communication is very important. If something is not working, don't hold it in. just talk it out, relax around each other, be intimate, intimate
With each other.
with each other, and do all that you can. And definitely there will be peace in your relationship, and you are definitely going to have a stress-free marriage.
My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. And honey, hit the nail on the head. All right, so we are closing now, and we want to say thank you so much for sharing your afternoon, your Sunday afternoon with us. And those who watch on the replay, thank you also for joining. And we are going to continue in the series of stress for some time. We're going to do financial stress, physical stress, body, the stress that comes with body, a host of other things about stress. So tune in again with us next week, same time, God willing, and we will continue the conversation. If you have questions, don't forget to write them down, and we'll be able to again follow. If you are watching and you haven't followed, click the follow button on Facebook. If you follow, then when we're going live, you're going to see, and you'll also be able to share your comments and stuff like that. All right, so we are closing, and we say that, beloved, we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. God bless you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
watching.